So by now, most of you have probably heard the Rings of Power wasn't exactly a success, unlike what some people and media outlets claimed when it first came out. A recent article even tells us that only 37% of viewers managed to watch through all 8 episodes. And if we exclude the hate watchers and poor people like me that had to review it, I think it's fair to say only around 1/3 managed to watch through season 1. Of course the percentage is a little higher overseas, but it's still not a massive success in any way. I was one of the few Tolkien channels that voiced my concerns early on when it became clear to me that they not only deviated from the source material, but often contradicted it. And when it comes to lore, I can say they managed to get barely anything right. I would even go so far to say they only got a couple of names right. The rest is either made up, not entirely accurate, or straight up contradict what Tolkien wrote. I would say though that they focused a lot on the languages Tolkien made, but it takes far more to be Middle-earth and a good show. The characters are wrong, places are named wrong, placed wrong on the map, or the casting of certain characters contradicts some of the lines from Tolkien's works. Even the societies we see are far more diverse than in the lore, both the dwarves, the half-orcs, and the Númenóreans. I would even go so far to say that it's false marketing to associate the series with Tolkien. Now how can something be objectively bad? Isn't it simply subjective? Well, not in all cases. Sure, one person can like a certain costume, while another person hates it. But when it comes to storytelling, there are certain rules to follow, a story structure, if you will. And if you don't follow these rules, you're almost guaranteed to make a bad film or series. That's actually often the case with films that fail. A story needs a coherent narrative to function, and when it doesn't, or if there's no real conflict, well then it falls flat, and some viewers might even start to question themselves, why are they even watching? In fact, we've all experienced such stories, our dreams. Most dreams start in the middle of nowhere, with no proper introduction to the story, the characters, or why they are there to begin with. Then the plot proceeds randomly, and often the dream ends without a proper ending. Hopefully that can also give you an idea why a series like The Rings of Power failed. It relies heavily on random coincidences to drive the plot forward, like when Galadriel jumps ship and randomly encounters the raft with Halbrand. Sauron. Yeah, how could I forget? And then after that another one, when Elendil saves them in the middle of nowhere. We're not even told why he's there to begin with, nor why the people from the Southlands are out on the open sea. They fled from something, but why sail? Where are they heading? There are countless of such cases in the series, and it's just one of the things I really disliked. Of course there's also the dreadful dialogue. Now can dialogue be objectively bad? Well, that's more debatable, but I'd say it can, when the majority of people think it's horrible. They really try to sell some cheap one-liners that were meant to sound cool and interesting, but it just falls flat and sounds kinda cringe. The sea is always right. What does that even mean? It's as random as saying cheese can't get any friends because it smells, or seagulls don't drink tea on Fridays. It's just utter nonsense. Sure, I get the hint, the Númenóreans are linked to the sea, but the sentence just doesn't mean anything meaningful. It's just words. Anyway, I'd say The Rings of Power is objectively bad, but of course that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. You can. You're free to do so actually. Just like I'm free not to like it. I've liked a couple of films myself that failed pretty hard and could be seen as objectively bad as well, so there's no shame in that. But The Rings of Power doesn't have much to do with Tolkien. So is there any hope for season 2? No. Simply no. There is no power or magic in our world that can undo the 1,000 mistakes made in season 1. I'm not excited for season 2 and mostly hope it gets cancelled, but that seems unlikely at this point. So will I review season 2? Well, it brought in a good chunk of money, and a lot of you guys seemed to appreciate me explaining the actual lore behind certain elements. So I will endure the pain and pray I can get through season 2 without losing my mind. It's only a fool's hope, but it's all we got. It would already take me hours to list all the things the show gets wrong, so hopefully season 2 will open up for some things I can elaborate on further for you guys. I'm fairly certain season 2 will also be a massive flop. I don't think a lot of people would give it a chance, and I don't feel the conflict in the series is strong enough to bring in new viewers. So there's still hope the show will be cancelled after season 2, but time will tell. At least Willow got cancelled, so that's a win. And that's really all I had to say. Maybe you want to watch this video next. As always, thank you all for watching and being part of the Council of the Rings. Farewell till next time.